This thing has me trapped in my car like Cujo. Get out of here. Go on, get. No, don't yell at me. Get.
What if we just did that for like 20 minutes? That was the whole show. We're so excited you're here. You. Welcome to Thefloridiotspodcast, the Florida Man's podcast. Literally tens of people enjoying this at any given moment.
Yes.
Join the movement, the Florida Man movement.
Yes.
A couple of Florida guys doing Florida Man stories. We've got a lot to get to. Now, of course, what you just saw in the intro there was me almost dying from a goat. And that's how that story will be framed.
He didn't know.
Near-death experience. Did you see his little ram horns?
Yeah.
Dude, it's like that was a full ram.
I mean,
remember that time I almost died from a ram?
Yes.
That's eventually, years from now, that's how I'll tell this story.
I wonder if they use the same, like, dodge it or ram it, like the truck. If you can't dodge it, ram it.
I couldn't dodge that goat. So here's what happened. I'm caretaking a friend of mine's house out in the middle of nowhere in Florida. And he's in Los Angeles, and I think they're going to try to fix the house up. So I'm doing some things to the house, right?
Future Southern Airbnb.
So absolutely. So I get out there, and I get out of my car, and there's a goat right here. And I'm like, get out of here, goat. Go on. So I didn't know what was going to happen. So I get back in my car and I shut the door, and he came and put his face, like this crazy goat face right in my face. Finally, I got him. I bumped a little with the door, and but he wouldn't go away. I mean, those things are ornery and stubborn.
They do what they want, most definitely. You see how they eat like they can eat anything. They're a creature of their own type.
Speaking of which. As I was doing some yard work, it would follow behind me and just eat all the lawn clippings. So we ended up having kind of a symbiotic relationship.
That's good.
So
from battling to togetherness, there's not much difference.
Really, we had a peace treaty.
You did. You had a grass treaty.
So time to get to some Florida Man news.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a little something more nuanced and deep and more morbid than we normally do. This isn't like an alligator caught smoking meth with a guy, that's not what this is. This is national news.
Yeah.
Florida man suspect in missing woman's disappearance.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Laundrie is the name of the guy.
From what part of Florida?
And Gabby Petito. Gabby Petito and her boyfriend were driving through Utah on a road trip. Yep. They were kind of doing the van life thing. And for those of you that don't know,
YouTube show.
They did.
They had their own YouTube clip. They had just started recording their show, like their stuff for their show. So they already have a clip on YouTube that you can watch, and it's all like, videos done with a drone and them on the beach and walking around San Francisco, and they're kissing each other and doing funny things on the beach.
So explain to, I know a dear, wonderful friend of mine, I know that she got divorced, and as she was going through it, she got this camper and fixed it up and picked this awesome, place in Oregon and camped out, and it was like glamping basically, but totally. She fixed this thing up. It was like Pimp My Ride, but for a camper, right?
Very popular now.
So explain to people what's going on with this whole van life situation. Are people like the tiny house situation? Is it sort of like that where people are like selling their things and they're traveling and they're living in these vans? Is that what it is?
They're doing that, and a lot of them are also like, I'm guessing a lot of them are like college students who probably graduated with a social media degree, and business and stuff like that, and grew up watching Facebook and all this stuff grow, and realized that an individual can be the product.
and they can still be
and
mobile.
they can still be mobile
So
and
it's
travel.
you're kind of like going Jack Kerouac on everybody's ass.
But with a computer and just filming everything in your day. And
Okay.
then there's a young lady who does it on her own. I can't think of her name right now, but I think she's like a yoga instructor, and she travels and does this stuff. And she's got hundreds of thousands of followers that subscribe to her on YouTube.
Right.
So she's making very good bank.
That's just a few more than us.
Yes.
Petito was last physically seen at a Salt Lake City motel on August 25th.
Weird.
Same day she made her last social media post from the
Uh-huh.
Monarch in Ogden, writing Happy Halloween with a photo of her standing in front of a mural holding a pumpkin. She looked happy. Now, of course, a new video has come out of a traffic stop
in
Utah with the two of them, Brian Laundrie and Gabby Petito, and
in the vehicle.
she looks completely distraught.
Yeah, crying.
And obviously, as we get into this discussion, this is going to be all conjecture, and we're just kind of like putting the pieces together and figuring out like everybody else. But to me, it looked like she was completely distraught, and he was kind of like cool as a fan.
Yeah.
Now, that could be from any number of reasons.
Right.
Maybe she was distraught because he's abusive, and maybe he's
Yeah.
a complete psychopath, and
Yeah.
so he's able to keep his steady heart rate.
Yeah.
The same friend that I was mentioning about glamping,
Yeah.
I mean, she was trapped in a situation like that.
Okay.
You know, so
Yeah.
I think that happens where
Mhm.
some guy or girl can project an image of calm, cool, and collective, and the other partner who's distraught is the one that's being abused.
And
But from an outside perspective,
would look
it
like-
looks
yeah.
like,
Why
oh,
are they
she's
so,
crazy, he's
yeah,
not.
Why
Right?
are they so frantic? And this guy's got his wits about him,
Right.
especially in a moment like that.
But there's another theory, Jason, and I was interested to see what your potential take on this was.
Well, my thing is like in this weird situation, and nowadays when you want to be able to trust and believe everybody, and give everyone the fair level of innocent until proven guilty kind of thing.
Yeah.
In this situation, if you have ever been in a relationship with someone with mental illness or dealt with anyone, it's not an easy thing to deal with because you're always walking on eggshells. You're not sure if they're going to harm themselves because they'll say things like that.
Right.
And they'll use that to control you and keep you in the relationship. Say, if you leave me, I'm going to do this or that and do something very not
So
good.
you think potentially she may have run away, killed herself.
Where I was getting at, because I was just looking at something else a few minutes ago, the video, she explained the fight pretty much happened just because he got in the van with dirty feet.
Yeah. She said she was OCD.
Right,
So
bad.
we're inferring and we're projecting a
Yeah.
lot, but I think we are so obsessed with these murder shows and stuff that
And
like immediately,
ADD and
right?
OCD and all the mental things that people are figuring out that they have now that 15, 20 years ago people never even recognized or realized.
No, I mean we just called PTSD shell shock. We blanket statement stuff that's you're crazy, and I think the mental health population, we don't take care of our mentally challenged people and our emotionally challenged people. I mean, that's a whole other world. People don't have any emotional intelligence or any range or any ability to govern their emotions. We don't take care of them. We lock them away. We call them crazy.
Put them on the streets.
Right. So it's a silent population. But you know what else is a silent population? Their partners.
Yeah.
Right? Because even if we can find help for people with OCD and ADD and schizophrenia and bipolar, right? Even if we can find help for them, and it's rare, and we need to do a better job, guess who doesn't get help? The people who have been trapped with them and dealing with it on their own.
Yes. It's very true. So it's one of those situations like you're not sure who's wrong or who's right in this situation until the truth comes out.
How's it going?
Hey, I know.
Good. I don't know, Jay. I don't know what you want to do. Do you want to just wrap it up and then start editing? Because it looks like we're gonna be doing that.
Yeah.
So
go for it.
Yeah, you go.
No,
you go.
No.
Come on, man, you go.
All right. So.
I'm just kidding. I'll go.
Yeah.
So no, I'm just kidding. You go, dude. Go ahead. I was just messing around.
The point is, I know today seemed a little bit darker, more serious than usual, but me and Lee discussed it, and we came to the conclusion that it's even in these situations, doing these type of shows, it's important to show people out there that who are have a problem with mental health or anything else like that, who are downtrodden and down on their luck. We care a lot about, and really will hope down the road, whatever we've talked about it before, if any money that we bring in to this podcast, money will be going to homeless veterans.
Yeah, it's going to be going to mental health causes.
Yeah.
And here's why. As we do this show, we're making fun of people for smoking meth with an alligator, right?
And they probably have a mental health
But they probably have a mental health problem. So, I think it's important that as we move forward and we're doing these Florida Man stories, and it's a national joke, the whole Florida Man thing, these are people that are subject to abject poverty, abuse, addiction, mental health problems, and then it makes national news because they had like just a horrible, shitty day,
And
right?
not only that,
And they drove their golf cart
Yeah.
into a Burger King.
right.
And then we laugh about it,
Yeah.
but the other side of that is it's an incredibly lonely population. We just had a friend of ours commit suicide right here in Florida, jumped off a building, and the type of horrible, lonely place where you have these thoughts in your head and you've got that mean voice going on and that ultra critic,
That thing's telling you fuck them.
right? And then you act
Fuck
out
everyone.
on it,
Yeah.
right? And then you become subject to a joke, and we in no way ever want to do that. So we
No.
thought it would be, interesting today to discuss this. And I think the other thing is, Jason, it's an extremely nuanced, complicated discussion when you're talking about someone going missing and you don't know enough, and everybody automatically is like, well, the guy killed her, and often he did.
Yeah.
But there are also
Can't jump to assumptions at all.
right, and I think it's an incredible lonely place for people who have mental health problems, but it's an incredibly lonely place for their partners and loved ones who are often silenced by this.
Yeah.
They're embarrassed or they don't know how to deal with it.
Yep.
And then sometimes even they react
Yeah.
or react poorly.
Yeah.
And then the focus is on how horrible they are and how they reacted poorly,
Right.
when in reality they've been dealing with this for months and months and years and years. So it's a serious issue. If you're suffering from mental health problems, I'm not going to tell you to go get help, because that's a part of the problem is that you don't want to go get help and you don't want to talk to anybody. I'm just going to tell you this. Be nice to yourself.
Yeah.
Just be nice to yourself.
Wake up every day and say a nice thing about yourself.
Yes, exactly.
No matter if you're going to feel negative about yourself the rest of the day. Lee and I can tell you we both probably deal with a little bit of mental issues ourselves.
What?
Yeah. And we are
You'd have to be
medicated for
crazy
that.
to do this show.
So, I mean, just to let you know, I'm a little tweaked myself.
Right.
So,
I'm
and I have
definitely
to,
touched.
and we definitely have to take notice that we're lucky enough to be in the situation that we're in. And it's not everybody gets to do this, and nobody speaks up for the people that need to be spoken up for.
Right, and it's easy for us to advocate for ourselves. We are white, Christian, heterosexual males, right? I mean, you're not Christian, but you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? We are the category that it's easy for me to walk into a hospital and go, hey, I'm not feeling great, I'm going to kill myself, and they'll help me.
Right.
Right? But when you're poor or black or a woman or you're, alone
Mentally
or you're in an
ill.
abusive relationship and you don't look like us, then, it's harder to get help.
And how we know is because we have friends that go through these situations, and we've watched them go through these, and we've watched the pain and the tragedy and the suffering that these families have had to deal with.
I've been it. I mean, I have been, I'm not scared or sad to tell you, I have been in institutions several times because I could not get my mental health or emotional health under control. And it's taken years for me to get to a place of stability where I'm not constantly walking on eggshells, as you mentioned, before the next collapse.
I went to in-school suspension a lot.
Oh my God. That's it. We're out of here. Follow us, the Thefloridiotspodcast on all social plats. Peace.